nothing like whiskey shopping and shopping in general, and doing a little bit of a tour in one of my favorite places in Africa, Zanzibar, Tanzania. Fantastic. Good evening and welcome to the Whiskey Lovers Society with me, Gert Retief. A little bit of a difference, a little bit of a tour of Stone Town here in Zanzibar, Tanzania. I also did a little bit of a whiskey shopping at my favorite whiskey store, and I must say I'm quite happy with my purchase. I will also share that information with you within the video. And also, of course, this is a whiskey review. I'm going to do a little bit of a review on the Teelings Pineapple cask. Now, it was a little bit of a strange one for me. I couldn't wait to get a sample of that and do a little bit of a review. So I did a little bit of a walkabout here in the city. Well, Stone Town, it's very small. Actually quite a lot of tourists this time of the year. I was quite impressed. The previous visit that I had almost no visitors. It's a very quiet time, but after the COVID situation, things are really picking up. A lot of tourists in the city, a lot of people shopping. Of course, again today quite cloudy, but it's quite hot. It's 5:30 in the evening. It is 28 degrees still, so quite a hot, humid place. But of course, with a little bit of a cloud cover, I did make it a little bit bearable. So enjoy a little bit of this shopping streets. A lot of people be prepared to get harassed by some of the people that are trying to do a little bit of business here in Zanzibar. Can't really blame them, but just keep in mind, a firm no will be perfect. They are not going to keep on harassing you. So enjoy the city streets, enjoy the shopping, and of course with the review I will also talk a little bit on my special deal that I got at my shop, whiskey shop here in Zanzibar. And of course I did a little bit of a shopping today, and before I go on with the whiskey, I did do a little bit of shopping. Was quite excited to this one. I did put some pictures on my Instagram account a couple of days ago when I did a little bit of a window shopping, and I walked into the small little shop. I think that's the only shop here in Zanzibar that do sell whiskey. Picked myself up a nice little bottle of Macallan 15, and of course everything is priced in shilling. So on the bottle it looks like quite a lot of money, and so I was a little bit curious, what does it actually cost. So I will put the picture up that I put on Instagram over here so that you can see. And so I did a little bit of a calculation, and then I realized that this is actually quite cheap. Well, actually very cheap. Online in Belgium, first place of course I look at my online store, 200 euro. 200 euro for this bottle. So I thought to myself, it's just not possible. With some digging, of course, I did find all over the world much better prices. Of course, I'm not there. And I also asked some of the people on the YouTube community, and the cheapest price that I could get was $134 US dollars for it. So in the end, how much did I pay for this one? 94 US dollars. So it is still quite a lot of money for a 15-year-old whiskey. But of course, I am a little bit of a Macallan fan. I had some, and I still have some in my collection, so I couldn't miss up this opportunity. Belgium 200, and I'm paying $94 for it. So a little bit of a find. And you know, where people are talking about the dusty find, the dusty shelf, well, this one was covered in dust. And I actually came here about 6 months ago, and these were on the shelf. They have 3 bottles of the 12, 3 bottles of the 15, and 3 bottles of the 18-year-old. And these bottles has been standing here the last 6 months there. And then I was here about 3 years ago, and those 3 bottles were still standing there. So they've been standing there for quite a lot of time, and they were quite surprised when I said I want that one. Of course, I had to go to the post office to change some additional money so that I can pay for it. They're not accepting euros, yeah, they accept dollars or Tanzanian shillings. So I had a big wad of money to come pay for it. So quite looking forward to tasting and nosing this one, but that is going to be for the future. During the week that I made my previous video, I also realized it's not always a good idea to try to make a video outdoors, especially if you do not have a proper microphone. So today I did go for a nice walk, take some additional footage that you've seen already. So on to tonight's whiskey. A very, very strange whiskey. Now I've spent a little bit of time with this one. Sometimes it was a little bit of a struggle to make the notes of what do I smell. There's a little bit of a hit, there's a little bit of a miss, and a little bit of a strangeness that came out. So we are definitely talking about the Teelings Pineapple cask. Now, when I first saw this being advertised, I was not sure if it's something that I would like. I do love pina coladas, so that was the first thought that came to mind. I think this one will also be perfect in the pina colada. So I did pour one not so long ago. It does have a little bit of a tropical look to it, but I think that is just all in our mind. So this is a pineapple cask maturation. From the little bit of a digging, I did find out that they use ex-bourbon casks for up to 6 years, and then they do a small maturation in pineapple rum casks from the plantation distillery. So maybe a good combination. Sometimes these things doesn't really work out, but of course I think the distillery thought it was a good idea. So it is bottled at 49.2% ABV, so definitely a little bit of a oomph or a little bit of a strongness to it. And I do like something that got a little bit of a strength to it, so that you can decide if you want to add a little bit of water or not. Of course, it is Teelings. It is an Irish whiskey, so a little bit of a whiskey with an E. So this one will cost around 53 euros for a bottle. So it is definitely not a cheap one, especially for a no age statement whiskey, but at least we know it is six and a half odd years old, so it's not that young whiskey, and it does have a little bit of a high ABV. So on the nose, well, on the color, sorry about the glass. Unfortunately, I did ask the hotel if they have a proper whiskey glass. Well, funny story. When I arrived here, I went to the restaurant, ordered something to eat quite late in the afternoon, and I thought a good beer which will also be perfect in this nice weather. Of course, I realized then this is an alcohol-free hotel. So a little bit of a shocker, alcohol-free, my word. Anyway, so this is the only glass that I get here in the room, nothing that I can use for a nice nosing whiskey, but of course we have to use what we get. So there is a lovely sweetness to it, and the first thing that comes to mind when I nose this, it's rum. There's so much rum influence on this. Now I could be totally misled by the fact that they have it from rum cask, but that's what I get. A nice, lovely, sweet rum influence. And then a little bit of a funky note coming out. And it's not a good one. It is a little bit of a bad memory for me. And the memory that it revokes is something that is a lot similar when you go to the dentist and they are busy drilling your teeth, and that little bit of a smell that comes out of that of the tooth. Oh, it's horrible. And I get a hint of that smell, which I can tell you, I hate a dentist. I cannot go to a dentist, but that's what I get. But just a hint of that coming out. It 49.2%, I definitely get that on the nose, especially if it agitates a little bit. But the funky note I get, it's a little bit off-putting for me, and I'm struggling to get past that little bit of a funky note. There's definitely a fruity note there. There's definitely a softness to it. There's a little bit of a vanilla note coming out. Also a little bit of a cinnamon note coming out. And then it goes back to that bloody dentist note coming out. If you would give me this on a blind taste, I'm not so sure if I would pick up pineapple. Maybe a little bit of an artificial pineapple, more than a fresh pineapple. There's a little bit of a cinnamon also in the back. So if it wasn't for that little bit of a dentist incident that I could pick up, it's pleasant, but I would not say it's whiskey. Definitely, if in a blind, I would pick it up as a rum for me. Maybe I think that it's just the fruity notes coming out, but yeah, definitely very sweet also. So on the taste, cheers. So on the taste, the first that you get, it's quite sweet. And then immediately, I get a little bit of a sour note coming out as well. Definitely the same as on the nose, I get quite a lot of the rum notes that you would pick up normally. That little bit of a brown sugar note coming out. On the taste, also not much of a pineapple note. Let me just give it one more try. Definitely not a lot of a pineapple note for me. But the sweetness, more the rum notes coming out, the brown sugar coming out, it's definitely strong. And a little bit of that sour note in the end, actually quite pleasant. If you would give me this one, especially having loads and loads of pina coladas in my life, I would definitely, first thing that came to mind, give it to my son, put it into pina colada. This is really going to be a nice in a cocktail, I think. Now that I go back, especially after I had a couple of sips and I go back to the glass, on the nose I do now get some of that pineapple notes. But again, a little bit of an artificial pineapple, or maybe a pineapple that comes from a tin, but it's definitely not a fresh cut pineapple. And a little bit of that sour note is definitely coming out. And a little bit of a perfumey, fragrancy note in the end. So let me just give it one more try. I can definitely get used to it. At least that little bit of of a dentist drilling your teeth smell. It seems to be gone now. So yeah, it is a little bit of a confused whiskey. But I think this is a little bit of it reminds me, I would say this is a Frankenstein whiskey. Something that has been built of taking parts from everywhere and they put it together, and there's one or two screws that was missing, creating a little bit of a problem. That's what I'm getting. But absolutely, I'm not sure if what I think about it. Maybe if I add a little bit of water. So I do come prepared. It is 49% ABV, so I'm not going to add too much. I don't have a spoon in my room. So maybe 2 teaspoons of water. Immediately a little bit of a cloud. I know it's dark in my room. I've got all the lights on. But yeah, it is dark outside already. No, that's not a good idea. That little bit of a dentist note is definitely coming back. So don't add water to it. Also remind me a little bit of a hard sweet that I had. A little bit of that pineapple hard sweets, the hard boiled sweets. Reminds me of that. So maybe not a good idea to add water, but taste. Definitely drinkable. It tastes better when you add just a little bit of water to bring the alcohol down. So in the end, what do I think about it? It's okay with water. Without water, I think it is better. I would not add water to this one. But that smell, it's really, it's really a little bit difficult for me. So in the end, my opinion, I think this is something that is a nice conversation starter. If you have a couple of friends over, especially that is casual whiskey drinkers, and you whip out something different for them, and you say, how about something with a pineapple cask finish? So many distilleries today are experimenting with all this different wine casks and sherry and pineapple casks. So yeah, sometimes it's a hit and miss. For me, it is a little bit of an in-between. I'm not 100% sure. Definitely not going to buy it. There's so many fantastic whiskies out there, especially at that price point, but I would like to get your opinion on it. Have you tried it? What do you think about it? Is this something that you would tell your friends to go buy, spend their 50 odd euros on a bottle of Teeling Pineapple cask? Or is this something that you would rather use in a cocktail? Let me know. Leave a comment, and let's talk a little bit on the Teelings Pineapple rum cask finish. So thank you very much for watching. This is my last day here in, well, I can't say sunny Zanzibar, because this whole week I did not see the sun once. So see you next time. And thank you for subscribing. We are now more than 700 subscribers, getting closer to that 1,000 and the monetization. And please remember, once we have reached that a little bit of an AdSense that we get from YouTube will go to children in South Africa, not for me. So I know, and thank you for the people that has been contributing. I have a PayPal account. I have a Patreon account. I also have a Buy Me a Coffee. So all those proceeds will definitely go 100% to children in South Africa with a little bit of a difficult time, especially with this pandemic. So feel free, like and subscribe, and please help a fantastic cause that we are trying to help. See you next time. Cheers.